Hello and welcome back. So yesterday we did get 3 Tayras. This is a cavalry transport ship. A really interesting looking ship, I gotta say. And well, the first thing that crossed my mind is, can I make this at least semi-decent in PvE or in ratting? Since this is a transport ship, they are generally, they generally have a lot of space. They can, transport stuff. And well, I'll jump in the ship's characteristics first. So this is a 556 meter long ship, and I like the design of it. It looks like a classic hauler, or pretty much a classic transport, and definitely I'm a fan of these types of designs since they look really good. It kind of looks like a truck, if you ask me, in a way. It's really interesting design, and well, the ship overall has really high quality details on it, which is a good thing. Alright, the traits. Roll bonus, +1 warp stability, an advanced industrial ship defense upgrade bonus per level, 5% shield, and advanced industrial ship command bonus per level, +5% cargo capacity. Well, not many bonuses are here to be seen since this is a transport ship after all. Its cargo space is 8,100 square meters, 8,100 cubic meters, and the capacitor ship hold capacity is 14,000 cubic meters. Defense 6.5k, which is pretty decent for a transporter. The resistances are pretty much generally the same as with other ships. It has a lot of shield and a lot of hull. This is a cavalry ship, so pretty much you'll have to be wary of that shield. The shield will be your most important ally in combat. The capacitor is 1479 gigajoules. You will have to wait 474 seconds for a full recharge, and it recharges 7.8 gigajoules per second. 6 max lock targets and 273 meters signature radius. So this is pretty much a very big ship. It is half a kilometer long, and usually is slow and generally is a easy target. Now, the modules that I have on it at the moment are medium missile launchers, a Webifer, a warp disruptor, a invulnerability field, a medium battery, and a MK5 medium afterburner. And overall, it does, surprisingly, it doesn't look too bad. The resistances, of course, will go up once I activate the invulnerability field. And of course, I have another fit that I'll show pretty much in a moment. In this video, pretty much I'll be testing around this fit with these missiles, and of course with this setup. The other setup involves 2 invulnerability fields, and it involves the decomposers, pretty much the new weapon that we did get access on. And it's actually very surprising that its DPS with the decomposers is actually really good. And with the missiles, they do 392 damage per hit, they have 30 kilometers range, and they of course have a slow rate of fire. Of course, I do have these Webifers and these disruptors in case someone jumps in and tries to shoot me, since I'll be in low sec. And the afterburner is a good addition, but it will not help much because anyway this ship will be slow. I think its speed is around 100 meters per second without the afterburner, and with the afterburner it's around 250 or 300 meters per second, which is again generally slow. And of course, like I said, you can pretty much experiment with the builds, and of course do not attempt this in the live version of the game, since these are transport ships and they are not made for any type of combat. You can, however, make them this way, but I would not risk that in the live version of the game in the next month. So this is just for fun and just to see if this ship can be semi-viable for PvE. I'm really curious to see how it will perform. Well, I did put a small shield booster there because I'll need that, and well, I think it's time to hop on the next fit that I'll show, which I think is kind of better and kind of more tanky and gives more DPS. The next build, as you will see in a moment, will consist of decomposers, and it will consist of dual invulnerability fields combined with a medium battery to keep the capacitor always at a high charge. the medium slots are going to be the same, and of course the high slots are going to be decomposers. Now you can pretty much set any weaponry that you like. You can set even artillery cannons, small missiles, large missiles, and you can set lasers. Pretty much anything will work. And well, at the moment the decomposers have really high damage output, and my ship currently has around 500 DPS with the decomposers, the prototype destroyer. And of course, with these active modules, the DPS jumps at around 900, which is really good. And I'm approaching the 1000 DPS mark that people have. I just need to skill a couple more skills, and then everything will be pretty much set and ready. Okay, I did take the modules that I need. Now let me place them inside of the transporter. And okay, where are they? They're still down. There we go. Okay, I need this. This will increase the decomposer damage. 5% passive and 8.33% active bonus. And there are the decomposers, and I have 109 DPS. This is actually almost the same, just a little bit lower than on my bomber. My bomber has around 150 DPS raw without any without any ballistic controls, and this is 109 DPS, which is interesting for a transporter. Okay, well, now I think I'll warp to a planet, since I think people will be interested to see the resistances with dual invulnerability fields. And of course, I'll show the DPS afterwards after I engage the module. Okay, as you can see, this ship does warp very slow. It is a very, very slow ship, and it is really inert. Okay, well, those are some nice resistances. Definitely good buffs. Of course, I can increase them a lot more because I still don't have maximum shield skills, maximum invulnerability shield skills, which I will need to skill for in order to gain more percentage from the invulnerability fields. Okay, now since I'm far away, now I cannot make any mistakes. Okay, now I can align myself. I will enable the support module, and then I will jump in the fitting menu, the fitting screen, and then I'll see how much DPS can I get out of this. 137 DPS. Well, that's actually almost the same as I have on my bomber, which is kind of funny. Really funny. I'm very curious how this will work. I'll test that out next time in the next video, because at the moment there is just a lot of people everywhere, and I just don't want to risk losing these modules since I don't have replacement for them. And well, let's dock. I'll switch my fittings again, and then I will hop in and go to low sec or near low sec. And well, then I will try out how the missiles will work on this ship. Really interesting. This ship is really tanky at the moment, and I can increase the resistances a lot more once I have the proper shield skills that I need to do. I think I need 1 day for them, 1 day maximum, I think. So that will be interesting. And well, let's dock, and then I'll switch builds, and then I can jump in actual combat. So really interesting. Again, do not try this with any transport. This is what I'm doing here is just for fun, and since this is a beta test since this is an open beta that will anyway have data deleted, I will not feel sad if I lose any ship here, because they will be deleted anyway. And in the live version, however, do not attempt this. Do not try this. It might be funny. You might catch some people. There is the possibility of literally catching someone in an anomaly with this and killing him, because I have the warp disruptor and I have the webifer, which will be really fun if I actually kill someone with this. I just don't know what would they think if I killed them with a transporter, but well, let's jump in and let's go to the first anomaly that I will find. Now, again, since this is a transporter, they're not going to have any bonuses on weaponry. I think there is actually a transporter that does have bonuses on drones and on drone range. It is the Combat Orca, I think. That thing exists in the game, by the way. I will leave the screenshot of that ship on the screen. That thing is interesting, and it is. I think it's actually a tier 9 ship. It is a high tier ship, pretty much top tier. I'm currently tier 8, so I think I can fly most of these ships in the game. Tier 9 and 10, I don't know if I will reach them. I think I can reach tier 10 in the end eventually. I don't know. I guess time will tell. Well then, the moment that I've been waiting for. Can I actually survive flying this into anomalies, and can I actually survive ratting with this thing? I think I can. Let's find out. Uh, 64 DPS isn't that great. It is pretty much similar to a frigate, pretty much similar to a tier 2, tier 3 frigate, and it is. I'm using medium missiles, and they are kind of a little bit bigger than the ordinary missiles, so they will have a lower DPS and lower damage. They will do lower damage to smaller targets because of the explosion velocity, and of course because smaller targets are smaller and they are faster and they are better at evading the explosions and of course the missiles, and that's why they will do lower damage. One way to counter this is to web them. I might have had, I think I could have also fitted this with a dual web setup because I am doing PvE after all, not PvP. And dual web actually might be a good idea on this thing, since you want to make them pretty much stop in place, and you want those missiles to hit a almost stationary target for the full damage. And I kind of forgot the explosion velocity. I think it is 120 meters per second, which could be better, of course. It could be better. And well, the 30-kilometer range definitely helps me a lot. And surprisingly, they are missing me, even though this is a 556 meter long ship. They do keep missing me. Okay. Now, one thing though that I have to be careful about is not to let them too close to warp disruptor me or to scramble me. I don't know. They do that, so you have to be careful around these. The frigates usually tend to do that. I initially thought to jump in a level 4 anomaly. Who knows, maybe. And just try to see what happens. But I did not manage to find any tier 4 anomaly, since everything is pretty much picked clean. People do farm a lot, and they did manage to empty most systems, which is interesting, which is actually respectable. People are truly doing a good job in the game. And well, that frigate came close. Now I'll admit, in this case, I kind of forgot to web it, and as you can see, the frigate manages to tank my missiles. It is a hull tank frigate, something that I did not see in evacos from a rat. And well, my resistances are definitely doing a good job. They cannot penetrate my tank, and all of them are pretty much hitting me at the moment, shooting me. It is cap stable, and as you can see, the missiles barely scratch this frigate since of its speed. I did forget to web it, but I did actually warp out here because I thought that I did not have enough DPS to take it out. But it turns out I just forgot to web it, and yeah, that's my fault. But it actually works. It does take hits. Well, these three rats aren't that smart. They aren't that strong, but this ship is holding. It is not. They're not breaking my tank, and the capacitor is stable, which is really interesting and kind of impressive for a transport ship. Now, I don't know how other transport ships do behave, but this one does take a hit and does take a punch. And well, time for me to warp out, since I don't want to risk that thing webbing me or scrambling me, since that would be interesting. And well, let's warp out. As you can see, the warp out takes a decade. It is a very slow ship, very slow and inert ship. And there we go, warping out. Don't worry, I'll be back here, since I did not finish the anomaly. I will be back, and I will remember to web the enemy, slower the ship's velocity, and then my missiles will do a lot more damage. Well, and of course its warp speed is 3 AU per second, which is actually slow. I know the dreadnoughts in online go at 1 AU per second. There are also some battleships that can go up to 4.56 AU per second. And of course, some super fast ships like the Jamiel, they can also hit 9 plus AU per second. And you have the rare, I think the rare exploration frigates, the ones that were given as a gift, that I think reach 11 or 12 AU per second. They're pretty damn quick in warp. I think it's the Zephyr. I kind of forgot what its name is. I think it's really fast. I think it actually hits 15 AOs per second. I kind of forgot. It's been a while since I did look at the stats for that ship. It's been a really long time since I did look at the stats of that ship. Well, I jumped in the next anomaly here. And well, let's lock them and let's take these rats out. Now it takes a very long time to lock due to the ship being very large, and of course due to it being a transporter. It's not designed for locking and shooting stuff, but it's interesting to note that it takes a very long time to lock smaller ships, and it might give an insight how battleships will lock smaller ships like frigates and destroyers. And that's interesting to note because that might help sometime in the future. Well, the missiles are definitely doing decent damage. Of course, it is lower damage than it will do compared to when you shoot cruisers, battleships, and so on, because of the sheer size of the ships that I'm shooting at, and of course of their velocity. Their velocity will definitely reduce my incoming damage from my missiles, since my missiles are bigger missiles, and bigger missiles are designed to shoot bigger ships. Pretty much the problem that I have on my bomber. My bomber currently has a really high DPS, and its problem is that the missiles are designed to be shot at and fired at bigger ships. And when you currently shoot at these destroyers, you can do good damage to them. I did do that. I did shoot one of the destroyers, but the damage was still minor, and it did not do as much damage as it would do when I would, for example, shoot a cruiser, or if I were shooting a battlecruiser or a battleship. The torpedoes definitely are going to do a lot more damage on bigger ships. Medium ones, of course, small torpedoes, missiles, and rapid small missiles are going to do good damage to small ships and, of course, bigger ships. Bigger missiles are going to be used for better on bigger ships. And well, that's one of the unwritten rules here. And because of that fact, I think the damage output with missiles on this ship currently is very okay. It's not too bad. It can, of course, always be better. It can be way better. I'm not using faction missiles. Of course, instead of these missiles that I'm currently using, I could have taken also torpedoes. That would also work very well, since they do shoot very fast. They have I think a 5-second reload time or lower, and they can do more DPS than these missiles. But these missiles have long range. And well, since I like to shoot the enemies from a distance, because I'm paranoid that they can web me or scramble me or stuff like that. And in this case, that's why I use these missiles. But of course, it will be really interesting to use decomposers on this thing. I can't wait to see how the decomposers will do. They do more damage, they have more DPS. I think they do 500 damage per cycle, which is a lot more than these missiles. And who knows, maybe I'll actually go do PvP with this thing. I don't know. It would be very funny if I actually managed to catch something with this. Since did someone in this beta test actually kill someone using a transport ship? I think so far that did not happen, and it would be really funny if I were the first one to do that. I don't know, but I'll definitely work on this a little bit more. I'm really curious to see how much DPS I can push out of this transport ship. Now, of course, one thing that I might have a problem with is the locking. It will take a decade to lock on. Maybe, well, who knows? Maybe I get lucky and I lock it, since maybe they will think that a battleship warped in. I don't know. I don't know how the transporter icon looks, since I did not see a transporter, or there were maybe transporters, but I kind of forgot. I don't know. Well, so far I did return on the original anomaly. And well, I'll first take out the destroyers, since they are kind of in my way at the moment. After I take out the destroyers, I will continue to shoot the frigate. Okay, the missile damage is satisfying. Interesting. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. My apologies. My big apologies for that. I just kind of I did look at the Discord, and people called it a battle bus. Well then, okay, I'll call this thing a battle bus then. It kind of looks like a bus actually. When you look at the ship, it kind of looks like a bus, which is really really funny. Okay, they do fall down quickly. Well, semi quickly. Pretty much reminds me when I shot at them for the first time when I used my Talvar early on in the game. Okay. Well, my long range is saving me a little bit time because once they approach me, they are going to be faster than me. Also, one thing that I find funny, when I actually web them, they are actually slower than me. So that's interesting. Something that I noticed. They're almost standing in place when I web them. Hey, it's really powerful webifer, I'll tell you that. Okay. Really, like this was actually very fun to record since I did not expect this to be effective at all. I expected to lose this ship. Actually, if I were to be honest, I did not expect it to reach this far, which kind of makes me impressive. And I don't know. You can actually make this ship to be a good bait in the early release of the game. You can make it to be super tanky, and I think I have an idea to make the resistances on this thing 90%, 90 plus percent. I think it's possible. I think I'll try that out. Obviously, I'll try that out. I just need to buy some rigs, but at the moment I did not find the rigs that I need. All current rigs that are available are kind of not what I'm looking for, and they're not as good as I need them to be. So that's why I did not rig anything. Of course, I might rig this thing for fun, of course, since I think this would be very fun to test out. But again, it is actually very slow. The ship is very slow. It reminds me of battleships. And having no afterburner and having no micro drive is definitely something that is kind of triggering me in a way, since so far I was flying very fast ships. Currently, my Nemesis, the bomber, is going at least 3.5 meters per 3.5 k, 3.5 3.5 kilometers per second, which is pretty quick for the bomber. And I think I'll make it to go 4,000 meters per second. I don't know. I'll try, of course. The faster, the better. Really good ship to surprise someone. You can jump them really quickly with it, and take them out without them even noticing what was going on. Well then, the final. I think this is the last ship that's standing. Let's take it out. Really effective. I never thought that I will say this, but this transporter is not too bad for ratting. You can actually make it work, although it does take a very long time to lock them on. Maybe shooting bigger rats will reduce, since the bigger the ship, the faster the locking. Maybe if you shoot at cruisers, if you shoot at battle cruisers or battleships, they will be locked very fast, but I don't know the damage that they will do. With proper rigs, with proper modules, I think it is easy to make it work. And there is the possibility that, in theory, that this ship might be good in ratting, in the tier 5 or 6 anomalies, at least in the small and medium ones. Since I think you can make it work to deliver to do good DPS and of course to have good damage, with of course proper modules. But again, doing something like that, I think, is kind of odd. But at the same time, it would be good for fun. But it's not something that is advised, of course. It's just for fun, just for fun. All right. Well, the last one is there, and I think I will warp out after I take out the last one. Like, this was a very fun run. I gotta admit, this was fun. I did enjoy using a transporter in Anomalous to rat. With the decomposer, I'll definitely jump in the higher tier anomalies, and then I'll try that out, of course. Well, I hope you enjoyed. It was very fun to record this. I had fun, and well, fly safe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.